I find one of the core things that is a commonality across a lot of the work I've done in my academic career as an undergrad and then industry, it comes down to systems thinking, gardening systems, swarms. I just gave a lecture a couple weeks ago at Oxford on AI and philosophy, and the frame was swarms and under what conditions they show up and when they can create value and the tension with coherence. And I think that to really wrestle with systems, you have to, Donella Meadows has this great quote, to engage with a system, you have to let go and just dance with the system. And I think that the approaches that we take in normal business are very instrumentalist. They're very first order. They require like just heroic execution. The ways to create magical outcomes are understanding systems and dancing with them. And one of the reasons I like the word gardening is it underlines that you are not in control of this system. You are influencing it. You have a meaningful impact on it, but it is a thing that is alive without you. So often I think that we use the builder mindset when we're approaching products or problems. The funny thing, of course, is my husband is a very good gardener and our garden is beautiful because of him. I am a terrible gardener of physical systems. And it's like, oh, I gross, and you get all dirty and sweaty and like it takes forever to see any results. So I like the gardening metaphor more than I like the gardening in an actual practical reality.
What is it you like about the metaphor? Is it the patience? Is it the inducement rather than the action?
I wrote a very short essay because most of my stuff I write is very long and discursive. I wrote a very short one a few months ago called The Magic of Acorns. And the overall frame of it is, a parable about the builder and the gardener. And the two of them are both trying to build large, beautiful things. And the builder gets immediately to work and says, okay, here's some rocks I can pick up. And here's the heaviest one I can carry, and pulls it together. And with sweat on his brow is getting stronger and more clever about how to use leverage to move rocks in place. And the gardener's just sitting there dilly-dallying and looking at stuff at his feet and picking up little pebbles. It's like, what are you doing, man? The builder keeps on making more and more progress and getting stronger and more clever. And at a certain point, though, the gardener starts creating outcomes that start becoming large and beautiful. And the builder thinks, like, are they cheating? Like, are they doing it when I'm not watching? What's going on? And this thing gets bigger and bigger and more beautiful. And the secret, of course, is the gardener understands that other things can be alive. And that some of those pebbles are actually acorns. And that's totally unlike a pebble and an acorn are totally unlike each other. And then the acorn has the potential to be alive and to be this big, massive thing that grows on its own. It takes a little bit of tending and care and finding the acorns and watering them and putting them in good soil. But that looks very unlike the process of building that entire tree yourself. And it's a very different mindset. And it's highly atypical for us to use in serious business. Serious business is all about heroics and sprinting around and having frameworks and saying, I definitely know the answer. And the gardening mindset is much more about acknowledging, I don't know the answer. And yet I still can assert that I can make good outcomes happen. A garden requires a gardener. A gardener is somebody who pulls weeds, trims back things, it plants certain seeds in places it thinks might on without saying that it built that thing. Like, it takes time, it takes reacting to this living system, but you can do amazing things with it if you just recognize that you are not building that system, that there's an alive thing outside of you that you're interacting with.